The Cosby sex trial began today, apparently in Pennsylvania. Now, there are a number of different opinions that are being kind of placed here and there. I'm on the CNN article right now. And one of the quotes I'm going to take out of this is a judge. I'm just going to paraphrase it. A judge found evidence during the hearing today, May 24th, 2016, to proceed with a criminal trial, but it is not clear when the trial will start. And if convicted, he faces up to 30 years in prison. Now, you have different opinions being waged back and forth about the amount of evidence, the legality of this act, what could potentially happen to him, just back and forth, blah, 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 blah. But I think the one thing to take out of this, if you support him or do not support him, is the fact that he is in his 70s, possibly, he is certainly elderly. And what's kind of, I think something people should realize, and again, I am not I don't want to say a supporter of his, 70s, late 70s, just looked it up. And when he goes to jail, most likely from doing this, if he goes to jail, which I think it's kind of stacked against him to stay out of prison, he will most likely die in jail. And I think it's sad that someone who apparently did some of these crimes, I don't know if it's all of them, can get away for such a long period of time and just not be seen as guilty by people for decades and decades and decades. What's worse about it is that you have supporters of his who, I don't want to call anyone out, will try to make him seem as if he didn't do it. And this is really, I'm just going to lay out my whole opinion on this case, because I've never, to my knowledge, or I've never done a video on Cosby, on just anything having to do with him since these allegations were made, anything having to do with his career. I watched the Cosby Show a few times. Admittedly, I don't have some giant attachment to it. That's just me. But again, I still understand where people's denial comes from, because they were fans of his. They were fans of his character. But the problem is they can't separate the character from the person who played him. And the person who played him has a very shady history when it comes to women. We know that now, based off of all of these different examples of women reporting what he did to them. And that's not to say automatically when someone is accused of sexual assault, it's automatically true. No. But think of every other person that was accused of some nonsense. I mean, things we found out were not true. 9 times out of 10, I want to say, when it's more than one person, 2 or 3 people coming forth, it usually is true, or usually is proven true. I keep thinking about the Bill Clinton thing with Lewinsky, and they did her dirty. But again, it's the whole point of, you have a record of people going after one guy. All of these different women wouldn't be reporting this thing about him if it wasn't true and if he didn't do it. And what's worse is that you'll actually have, one of the common criticisms, rather, is, if it really happened, why did it take so long for them to come out with it? And one could say, okay, well, yeah, they should have come out earlier. But I ask you, if you were raped or molested by someone that was in the hierarchy of the entertainment industry, and you wanted to be a celebrity yourself, which was the case with some of these women, if one might recall, why would you wait? I mean, why would you really believe that you're going to just automatically go to authorities and put this person's stuff out without any type of fear or concern or caution for your own well-being? I sincerely believe that half the commentators who expressed that opinion were, if God forbid, were this them, would be bothered to the same extent, if not more, than these women. I have absolutely no problem with them coming out all of these years later to go after him if this turns out to be true. And I'm on their side now, because there's too many of them to deny. See, if it was, again, when it was one or two, yeah, maybe, possibly, but 7, 14, more, more than, I'm just making up random numbers that I know are the very minimum of what actually is the total amount. They're not all nonsense. I'm almost gonna go on the record and just say most of them are probably true, because there's too much against him for me to believe it's not the case. And I really hope that anyone who sees this, be it a supporter of his, a person who's against him, in this case, I guess, as I am as well, I hope it never happens to anyone you know, or any person that you personally, especially to the ones who are saying these women are full of crap. Because a lot of us have female relatives. A lot of us have female acquaintances that we care about, and we certainly wish for their well-being. And I think a lot of people would be surprised to find out how quickly a person's life can just flip upside down when they are sexually assaulted. That's why we have to consider the fact that that gap of time, that giant, for some 10 years, for some 20, 30, 40, whatever, that extended period of time may have been them trying to pick up with their lives and attempt to move on. And now that they've seen one or two come out, maybe they've realized they haven't been able to put it behind them, or maybe they want to ensure he doesn't try this with anyone else. Which, I mean, he's relatively old at this point, but he was still doing this, according to them, up until the early 2000s. One woman at least. And I just think that there is a certain level of heroism associated with coming out and trying to stop someone from potentially doing the same thing to other people. And we've had the same problem with rape victims of a lesser, but obviously they were raped by people who probably weren't on his caliber, that won't come out. And this is something that needs to happen if it's true. So that's just what I'm going to throw out there. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.